Hi everyone, it's Crissy, and today we are going to do a cross stitch tutorial of how to create actual cross stitches. So for this, you are going to need some cross stitch cloth or fabric. You will need a hoop. You will need a pair of scissors. You might need a threader. You'll definitely need some embroidery floss and also a golden eye needle. So those are all the supplies you are going to need. So the first step is going to be finding the center point of our fabric. So the way you can do this is by folding it in half once and then folding it in half again, and your center point will be in the corner. So then you can unfold it and go ahead and put your fabric in your embroidery hoop. So next we're going to prep our embroidery floss and then thread our needle. So you're going to take your floss, and I do about an arm's length amount first, just to start off with. More than that, it's going to get a little tangled, so this is a good amount to start with. So you're going to go ahead and cut it off, and you're going to want to separate it out into 2 strands. So this can be a little frustrating at first, but you're going to find those 2 strands, and then instead of pulling them, which most of the time leads to the floss getting tangled, you're going to separate them out between your 2 fingers, then take another finger on your other hand and pull down nice and slow. This will help separate your strands while also keeping it untangled. So now it's time to thread our needle. So you can use a needle threader. That will definitely make it easier, but you don't have to. So just go ahead and quickly thread your needle. So now it's time to actually start working on our stitches. So I'm going to show you 2 different ways. The first way is making a full cross. So you're just going to start by poking your needle up through the back, and you can do this in the center if you would like. That's where I'm starting mine. So you want to make sure that you are pinching your embroidery floss since it is not in a loop. You're also going to leave a tail in the back. This tail is about 2 inches long. So once you have done that, then you're going to take your needle and poke it back through at an angle. And you're going to do that with 1 square between the 2. So you can see that there is a lovely angle. So the next step is poking your needle back up through and going back across. So this will make 1 full cross stitch. So this is one way that you can go about making your pattern or your full cross stitch situation. I would recommend practicing a couple of times just like this. You can skip a line while you're practicing just to get the hang of it. So we're going to do this a few more times and then move on to our next technique. So whenever you are ready to change your color or add more of the same color on, all you're going to do is take your needle and go through a couple of the stitches around back, and then you'll cut off the remainder of the thread pretty close to the back stitches. And there you go. So now we are going to learn the second technique. So the second technique is making stitches all in one direction first and then going back over in the other direction. So I'm just going to start by poking the needle back through the back again, making sure that there is a tail, and creating that first stitch at an angle just like I did before. But instead of going back and creating a cross, I am going to create another angled one in the exact same way I just did before, right beside that first stitch. And you're going to do this as many times as you feel like doing it to practice. So here you can see that I have 5 of the stitches created, the first part of the stitch. So now what you're going to do is just go back and complete your cross. So you're going to poke your needle through and then cross over and do that all across your line. Now, the big thing with cross stitching is that whatever direction you decide on from the very start, you need to follow that through your entire piece. If you don't do this, then it's going to end up looking a little wonky. So just make sure that whichever way that you start, make sure to follow that. So that is it. These are the basics of how to create a cross stitch. So please join us later when we talk about following a cross stitch pattern. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.